It is December 30th, 2024. And of course, it is another bad day for me, down 2.5%, but almost another percent after hours. We'll see how things shake out during the overnight market. If there is, I can't remember if the market is like early close or whatever for New Year's, but yeah, we'll see how things shake out this week. But this is on a day where the NASDAQ is down 1.3% and a little bit after hours. Let's see, for the week, the NASDAQ is down 1.3. This is from December 23rd. For the week, 1.7. So the NASDAQ is kind of beating me on the week. See, on the month, basically flat. Month, I'm down 1% slightly. 3 months, 3 months, yeah. So looking at my year-to-date chart, I am still looking pretty, but definitely not as good as I was December 16th. But still not bad. Can't complain too much, especially when the NASDAQ is only up 27%. And of course, I have my AMD secured put that I sold. It is down about $65. I did see on the news, and this is off of X, so correct me if I'm wrong, because I know not everything on X is super accurate, but I believe AMD just released a new chip or something for the UEC. So the UEC, I believe, is a council with a lot of other semiconductor companies, and they basically set standards, and my understanding is very rough. I'm not even going to try and pretend like I understand semiconductors and all that, but I do believe that they have the first some sort of Ethernet chip that is the first one to meet the standards of the UEC. So maybe it is something good for AMD, but it was nice to hear as a potential AMD shareholder. I'm not an AMD shareholder yet, but I did sell a put option that I could either roll out into the future or just collect my AMD shares and turn around and start selling calls or whatever. If I want to keep my AMD shares, maybe I won't. But I am up a little bit on my Nubank put option. I guess I should have sold more Nubank puts and a little bit less on the AMD, but it is what it is. But today, Robinhood is down 3%, Nike's down 2%, Palantir 3%, Pepsi slightly red, 0.7%, Tesla down 4%, TLT up 1%. So it looks like TLT is working as like a risk-off asset while Pepsi is still going down with the market. It is what it is. I still like Pepsi, but it is slightly disappointing to see them go down. And of course, Pepsi is not a perfect risk-off hedge. It still goes down with the market crashes if anybody looks at the chart. But I just wanted like a consumer staple stock to just kind of balance out my portfolio, especially after Robinhood and Palantir went up so much and it's just so top-heavy. But of course, PayPal down 1.7, SoFi 2.5, Honest a little bit over 2, and American Express slightly over 1. And something interesting that I saw, Nubank was up almost 3%. RAPX, which is like my speculative oil and gas play small cap, it is up almost 4%. So it looks like some sort of what I described a potential scenario a few videos back where I thought Chinese stocks would do good along with the energy sector. But another foreign stock, Nubank, a little bit more South America and Brazil heavy, but it is going up on a day where the market is red. And just out of curiosity, I wanted to take a look at XLE, but I think it's basically flat for today. And if anybody follows me on X, you'll see that I've been posting a lot of charts relating to the energy sector because in the higher time frame charts, like super long term, there's a potential for energy to enter another bull cycle. Now, if you are a heavy shareholder in the energy sector, industry, whatever, then maybe that's good news for you. But in terms of inflation, that is probably not a good thing. And it also somewhat lines up with what I've been seeing in the super long-term interest rate and treasury market, where on TLT, or maybe it wasn't TLT, I don't remember what chart it was, but I know it was like the 20-year yield or the 30-year yield. It also looked like it was getting ready for another rally. And obviously, if interest rates look like they're getting ready for a rally, that could be signaling inflation, future inflation, because that would mean interest rates would go up and bond market would go down. But in the short term, I do think TLT can still go up. And short term as in like the next 1 to 2 years. But the next 20 years, I definitely don't think it's looking good for the bond market. I think there's a high possibility for interest rates to go up in the farther future, along with energy stocks. And also, I believe Trump has been talking a lot about other countries. Europe needs to buy a lot more American oil. So obviously, if we get a whole flood of buying, that could also potentially push up prices. But we'll see. It's all just speculation, like I said. I will say this, though. I am liking the market going down and taking a breather here, even though I am down about 12 grand or maybe 14 grand, somewhere around there from my peak, which was like 132, 133-ish. So even though I am down over 12 grand, I am happy to see stocks at what I believe are low prices. So when it comes to Robinhood, under $50, I am liking around 37, below 40. If I wasn't a shareholder, I would be excited. But the closer you get to 50, I don't know if I would be a buyer. I am a long-term shareholder of Robinhood, so I have no intention of selling or selling covered calls or any of that. I am simply a long-term shareholder of Robinhood. And in separate accounts, possibly I could add more. But like I said, there's so many other stocks for me to buy, especially a lot of these oil and gas stocks. I don't like how REPX was up so much today because it's such a small position and I wanted to buy heavily. But it is what it is. If it wants to go up right now, it can go up. I'm not going to cry too much about it. But of course, Nike, I'm loving it at 75, 74. I think Nike could easily hit 88 sometime in the near future, maybe early next year. And then, of course, after 88, it can go up to 100 and then so on and so forth. And as for Pepsi, anybody that's seen my past videos will know my price target is at 170. For Tesla and Palantir, I am not going to give a price target because those stocks will just do whatever it wants. TLT, I did used to give price targets, but honestly, this thing has been going everywhere too. It'll go up, down, sideways, whatever. But I do think TLT could possibly see 100 again next year, right? And I mean, next year is in a couple of days, but you know what I mean. Especially if we start seeing some weakness in the economy and in terms of jobs, because one of the things that Trump, Elon, all of them are talking about is government efficiency. And maybe they don't lay off a lot of people like they've been kind of scaring the market into believing. I could definitely see the scenario being they keep most government jobs at the moment so they don't cause some short-term unemployment spike, but they balance it out with not hiring as much people. And obviously the government has been a very big employer. So we could definitely see that slow down. And if the private sector, right, corporations don't pick up the slack and start hiring more people during a time where the government is hiring less, then of course, unfortunately, the unemployment rate could go up, which is good news for TLT, bad news for the economy. Obviously, just want to point out again, this is not trading advice. This is not investment advice, financial advice. This is just me giving out my opinions. And of course, PayPal, I do think there's a possibility it could go up to 100 next year. And as for SoFi, it could possibly see 20 next year. Honest, possibly see $8 again next year and then 10. I will say this, though. I do like Honest. And if I didn't already have over 1,000 shares of Honest, I would be a buyer here in the $6 range. I think EA is great under $50. I think it could easily see 160, 170 next year, which is not a whole lot of upside. It's similar to like a Pepsi where it's not a lot of upside, but it just looks decent from my eyes on the charts. EA has been consolidating for so many years now. I think it has a very solid base. And of course, Nubank at $10. I would love to buy more. RAPX, you guys already know it's my oil and gas speculation play. Now, as for Google, I actually think Google could possibly see 175 next year. There is a big gap down there. I don't remember the exact numbers, but 175 I think is a possibility next year, especially if we see a lot of money flow out of the big techs. And another thing that I wanted to show off to you guys was I finally have tax lots. I know, I've been crying about it for so many months now. Anybody that has seen a lot of my videos will know I have been begging and begging for tax lots. But I'll go ahead and show you guys right now. So I hit the sell button. I click the upper shares, and boom, sell in tax lots. Now, if I go ahead and click sell in tax lots, I'll bring up this button right here, click sell or select lots, and then it brings up all of my lots in TLT. Now, I'm assuming this L is long-term capital gains. So if I were to sell those stocks, it would be taxed differently than the S. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not an accountant. Like I said, that is not financial advice. But I'm pretty sure L is long-term and S is short-term. And I can go ahead and check mark these right here. And boom, boom, boom. Now, the one thing that I wanted to mention as well is when I was talking with support about tax lots, I believe they mentioned that when I go to sell a covered call, I can also select which lots I want in that 100, the 100 shares for collateral. I can actually select which prices I want to sell at or which cost basis shares to sell. I'm not entirely sure on that, but when I do eventually start selling some calls on TLT, I will let you guys know and see if I can actually do that. But as for right now, I'm not entirely sure how to do that. And if that is not the case, definitely, if someone from Robinhood is watching this, that is something that would be really cool, where if we go to sell a covered call, we can actually select the 100 shares that we want to put up for collateral. That'd be really cool. It is Tuesday, December 31st, 2024. And I guess the last day of the year, the market, or at least my portfolio, just wants to completely tank. But today I am down 1.6%, a little bit more overnight. And this is on a day where the NASDAQ is down 0.85%. And we only have 11 minutes left until this Robinhood surprise, whatever. And speaking of this Robinhood surprise, I really like this. I don't know what you would call this. This very aesthetically pleasing feedback. I guess that's what we can call this right now. My New Year's reward, I mean, it's probably going to be something basic like 1% deposit boost for anyone that makes a deposit on January 1st or something like that. I don't know. Or it's going to be some feature announcement that we're not even going to see for another 6 months to a year. But it is what it is. I did notice today, though, Vlad actually had a post on X asking everybody what new features they wanted to see. And I somewhat gave a long response. And basically what I said was, if all of the features that they announced this year just gets rolled out next year, that by itself would actually be a huge accomplishment. And I'm not saying that to be mean to Robinhood or whatever. I mean, Robinhood is my number one position by a long shot. I am super overweight Robinhood and I have no plans on selling. But I genuinely do mean that if Robinhood is able to roll out all the features that they announced to at least all gold members, that by itself is a huge accomplishment. But to just go over this year, so starting from January 2nd, this past year, I am up 114%. Now, I was doing a lot better, like around 140% at 132K, but it is what it is. Can't complain. It's been a pretty decent year. And of course, this year had a tremendous impact on my all-time chart. And this is on a year where the NASDAQ is basically up 26%, so I can't complain too much. And as for some moves that I've been making, I did go ahead and roll my AMD a little bit. So I basically freed up, I want to say $400 of collateral and about $95 in premium. And I did take some of that money and put it into REPX. Just because I'm so underweight REPX, I have such little capital in it. And it does look like it's gearing up to go up. Obviously, I can't predict the future. That's not financial advice. But I just have so little. I just felt the need to buy 10 shares for me today. And I also got this random RSX dividend for 4 cents. I honestly have no idea what this is for. This ETF got discontinued after the Russia invasion, but it is what it is. I'm not going to complain about 4 cents. And I still have my Nubank put option that I don't think I will roll, but I do see myself potentially opening another put options, cash secured put, if Nubank is red sometime soon again. And let's say this put option right here is hovering around break even or whatever, or maybe it expires worthless, but the puts farther out actually gain in value, I could potentially see myself selling some more $10 secure puts and the 950 ones. But we'll see, of course. We'll see how Nubank plays out these next few days and to start the next year, of course. And if we quickly look at some percentages before that Robinhood surprise comes out, Robinhood is down almost 3%. Nike is up 1.3, which is very interesting. I did say before that we could see a scenario where the market is down, the broader market is down, but Nike potentially could go up. So today was kind of like that. Not exactly, because TLT is slightly down, slightly flattish. But of course, Palantir is down 2.5%. Pepsi is up 0.5%. So that kind of lines up with what I was saying about Nike in my past videos. Tesla is down 3.7%. PayPal slightly down, basically flat. SoFi down 1.6%. Honest is down 0.7%, which is surprising because that stock usually moves up and down at least 2%, 3%-ish. And of course, if we take a look at the prices, my price target on Robinhood is still $50 for next year. And I know that's only in one day, and Nike's 75 right now. I could definitely see this one going up to 88.90 next year, maybe even 100. And of course, if you guys have seen my past videos, okay, yes, I already know about this. You'll already know that I'm not going to give a price target on Palantir, Tesla, and maybe even TLT. But I do see a scenario where TLT could hit 100 next year. And of course, Pepsi, my price target for next year is still 170. PayPal, I could see it hit 100 again. SoFi, I could see it at 20. Honest, I could see it at around 8 to 10. And American Express, I kind of just let it do its thing. I don't really give price targets or whatever, and it's such a small position. I wish it was bigger, but it's not. And same thing with Burberry. I'm down so much on Burberry. I just kind of leave it alone, let it do its thing in my account. EA, of course, is 146 right now. I could see it at 160, 170 next year. Nubank, I could see it back up to the recent highs it made earlier before this very hard crash. So back up to like 16. And of course, REPX. I don't think I've given a price target before, but my long-term price target on REPX is actually something crazy. It's like $100. And I know it's a long shot from here because it's basically 32 right now. But yeah, I could definitely see REPX go up to $100 per share. And correct me if I'm wrong, but their free cash flow per share right now is 6. So even if it gets to $100 per share, the free cash flow yield is still 6%. So VFC, I don't think I've given a price target for, but I could see it, go up to 25, 30, somewhere in that range. And of course, Google, I could see it hit 175 next year. I'm kind of hoping for that one because I definitely want more Google. And just to burn off this next 2 minutes, I guess I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about AMD. So I do like AMD, and I wish I had a lot more capital just to stash it in like maybe an IRA or something, or at least in a separate brokerage account. But as of right now, if I were to take my option premium and put it into actual AMD shares and just continuously roll that out until eventually, if AMD does recover, of course, my put options would expire worthless. And that entire time that I've been rolling out the contracts, collecting premium, I would have been stashing it in AMD shares. But I already have so many starter positions right now. As you guys just saw, I have RAPX, I have EA that I want to build out. I have Nubank, I have, I have so many. I have Google, of course, that I want to build out. So I have so many of these other stocks that I want to build out. I don't know if it's fair, I guess. I mean, it's not like stocks have feelings, but I don't think it's fair for me to start another new position in AMD. But I don't know. Like, I really like AMD and I like what I see. But like I said, I have so many other positions to build out. But potentially, if I do get assigned on these shares, definitely I could see myself holding at 115. But we'll see. So far, right now, I'm just going to take the option premiums, pay off my interest, stash it into other stocks, and just build out from there. All right, let's see what the surprise is. Okay. The promotion has ended. Keep an eye out for the next one. Oh, no way. I think I forgot. I had to be on that screen, right? Oh, no. I just screwed it up. Oh, my goodness. There's no way. There's no way. All right, guys, so I think I screwed this up. Wait, it says you're here early. Come back in a bit. Okay. So I think I screwed this up, but it also didn't load anything. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that was very anticlimactic, and I apologize.